Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for the continuous support, suggestions, and phone calls.
Alright, so welcome back to Andy's farm. On this farm, we basically grow cattle, pigs, and small ruminant.
So you do for a living, Mr. Andy, outside and raising animals for livestock?
Well, I'm really a livestock officer where I cover the parish of Kingston and St. Andrew.
Also, you practice where you preach?
Yes, sir.
That's admirable. So what kind of cow you have here? Look, mix up. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, really, I started out with some red poles, but based on my condition, I kind of transition a bit to Brahman and dairy.
Why you do that?
Well, to me, in this location, these animals seem to be much hardier and they do well under my condition that I'm currently rearing them under.
So you have a feedlot operation?
Typically.
Okay, so I see you have calves here. So how you buy like weaners or something to fuck them up? You do the whole 9 yard where you breed them, manage the calves, then fuck them up to market weight?
Well, it is really breeding to market weight. I actually started out with some dairy animals, and I'm seeing where it is not profitable really to buy these calves and feed them over that period where milk replacer is pretty expensive.
Okay.
So I think doing it as a actually having the cows producing the calves and selling them other than going out there and actually buying weaners to bring them up to marketing stage.
Oh, that's what you're saying. And so you're saying to go buy a weaner or buy a calf, buy a milk replacer to fat them, you think a little bit more expensive. So you have mothers who now give them the milk, so you cut that milk replacer cost and carry them up. Okay.
Exactly.
What's your end market weight for these animals that you have here?
Well, on this side, I wouldn't say it's really marketing weight because we normally just price animals and sell them because a typical farmer don't really have a scale to weigh an animal. And so unless we are selling directly to Juicy, whereas you would get the weight of the animal. So we just grow them up and the butchers will come and we just average a reasonable price, whereas we definitely know that we are making a profit and you give the butchers allowance so that they can also make a profit.
All right, that sounds like a fair trade. So you're saying has this been profitable for you?
Well, for me, most definitely it has been profitable. I'm a person of record and I like to teach farmers also what I do here so they can actually not make some of the mistakes that I had made in the past.
And I like that. I appreciate that. So question now again the health concerns that you have faced with cattle production, which is probably like the main top two that you do want probably farmers to consider when doing a feedlot operation like this? Well,
the challenges with feedlot operation, is really the sanitation and having them in one location 24/7. It's very hard to manage these animals, especially when you have a lot of rains. When you have a lot of rains, you would definitely run into problems. So you would have to have a plan B then to really relocate the animals, or you will have to clean the area more frequently. I have had cases whereas calves born during that rain period and they drown.
Oh wow.
Literally drown, and it's the mud that actually drown them. So it might not be drown, but more of suffocation.
Suffocation, I get you.
So that would have been one of my most difficult problem. Another challenge is to actually find food.
Okay.
So the nutrition is very important, and to find food sometime in periods like this when you have drought conditions, it's very, very difficult to find food. So most definitely you would now have to know the requirements of these animals. So if you can't find that amount of food, then you would definitely have to cut production or reduce the amount of animals so you can definitely try to maintain them during the drought period.
So how you survive? What is your secret? Because these animals are in really good body condition.
All
So you're
right.
feeding them well.
So again, based on what I do every day, I found out that sugarcane would have been one of my best options. The fact that I have to work. So the other grasses would definitely be too light. So if I even full my truck of a guinea grass or a pangola grass, it wouldn't serve me for much. So what I do is sugar cane, especially time now that they are actually harvesting.
Oh yeah.
You have these areas that after they harvest and they move out of these areas, you have a lot of reject that would fall from the truck and that might have been crushed and so on. And I'm good friends with persons in different areas. So sometimes after they reap from the fields, you do have some cane that were in areas that probably the tractor couldn't reach. So I would go in and cut them out.
Okay. All right, I see that young calf right there. All I want you to tell the farmers them probably your 2 or 3 top tips to ensure that this calf survive.
All right. Firstly, as I said before, the breed that you actually select is very important. Now, the Brahman breed is one of those breeds that is way more resistant. They are actually tick resistant. They stand up more to the drought. So that calf that you see there is actually a red pole, graded red pole mother with a Brahman bull.
Okay.
Now, there are some cases where you might have the mother rejecting the animal, but you have to ensure that during that early stage that these calves get the adequate amount of milk and also that colostrum, which is very important. All right, again, you might have cases whereas the mother might not produce enough milk. So you would now have to foster care. There is where I introduce the dairy animals. If you look at this animal, they produce enough milk to foster care. Not only feed their offspring, but also to assist in feeding other offspring.
Okay.
So the dairy incorporating within your herd is very important. Sometimes even the heifers going into cows, producing their first calf, might not have that good mothering ability.
Yes.
So there is where you might have to pull some milk from the dairy animals that produce that excess that can feed their calf and also foster care some others.
I like that. All right. Thank you, Andy. I think the next thing we want to kind of discuss is your goat operation. Because I remember the last time we got a big buzz over what you're doing with your goat pen. I know you said you do some improvement, you're expanding. I know you're doing you're doing your own little house building type of operation. Because I saw a nice demonstration what you did out of pallets by Demby. I just kind of walk us through that. Just give us an update on your goat farm.
All right. So as mentioned before in the previous interview, I'm a farmer that tries to be as economical as possible. So I've came up with this great idea of utilizing pallets to actually construct goat house. What makes my construction a bit different is that I try to pull the pallets apart. So pulling them apart, you're actually maximizing on the use of them and ensuring that it's safe for the animals in a few different ways. Now, pulling them apart would prevent the feces from stopping at the bottom. What I see a lot of farmers do is actually utilize the pallet as it is. Now, when the feces fall through, it will stop on this bottom board, and that could facilitate a lot of disease or a lot of pests. So it is definitely best to separate your pallets and ensure that it's safe for you as a farmer that is actually in that area every day and also safe for the animals. Now, in the past, I used to use any available pallet, but I realized that some of these pallets deteriorate very quickly. So I have now gone and selected these type of pallets. For one, they are much easier to pull apart without damaging the lumber. So what I normally do for the sides, once I take out these boxes, I'll now get the side of the goat house.
Oh, okay.
So for the flooring, you need to pull the pallet apart fully. So you now can place the lumber at the specific spacing to facilitate the pieces that will fall through. So I'll demonstrate that to you when you're actually within that area. But again, this type of pallet is, the lumber is a bit thicker, and even though it's not treated, over time I realized that it stand up to a lot of other things. Termites, and in terms of the width of the boards, it also increases the life. The fact that you're actually walking on it on a daily basis, sometimes the animals might buck it and all of that. So these pallets, I think, is ideal for these pallet goat houses.
I think probably the main question everybody going to ask now is how much for these pallets?
Well, I'm actually paying $500 per pallet now.
And then I think the next big question is, say you want to construct a goat house, we can house probably, you know, say 10 animal or 20 animal, you know, using this low cost system that you have. Do you have an estimate price range, what the material cost would be, or even a material and labor cost?
Well, I could work that out and give you it at a later date, because I have those things written down. But again, I try not to use a specific stocking density. You will enter some farms and you would see they are stocking their animal much closer and they are doing fairly well. The thing about this is that when you go out there to purchase animals, try not to get them from several different locations. I've observed that once they come from one location, they kind of bind together much easier. If you go and you get poo from this location and poo, you understand, it will be much more difficult to stack these animals together. Again, there are different breeds or different methods. Persons sometimes de-arm their animals just to stack them much closer, especially for the Nubian breed. You notice that most of them, you would go and you think that they might be pulled, but they actually debud them or de-arm them at an earlier stage. This helps to facilitate how much animals you can actually stack in one location.
Get you.
Or in one space.
I agree with that. I think de-harning definitely helps with reducing the whole aggressive nature of the animals, the fighting, etc. Yeah, because I know a lot of farmers lose like pregnant animals.
Yes, man.
Because of the whole bucking with the horn. So I think everybody excited to see how you build your house out of the pallet. So quickly show us a walkthrough how you get that done.
Right, so here is where I have a typical pallet house. So this is basically approximately 50% lumber and 50% pallet. So you can actually come in and let me show you what it is like inside. All right, so as I mentioned before, the sides are these. Most of the sides are the pallets that we just basically take out the boxes or the square section from it. Now, for the flooring, we basically pull it apart and then put it back in the specific size. So the spacing of the flooring is very important to facilitate the pieces so that they will fall through, and also to prevent the feet of your animals from getting damaged. So here, if you notice, this is a typical area where I store basically most of my small equipment used on the farm, and also my drench, my ear tagging implement, and a thermometer, which is very important to take the temperature of your animals. So once you see an animal and you'll notice that they are not doing well. It's very important to check the temperature of the animal.
So I have a question for you. Back to your pallet housing. So what size pen is this, and what amount of pallets you would use to build something like this?
All right, this house is basically 24 by 24 feet, and approximately 75 pallets were used.
Oh, nice. And it's a 50% lumber. So
Yeah.
so the lumber that you buy, which parts you had to buy to build up the house?
All right. In the previous interview, I told you the importance of these pulling. And the pulling is what is keeping the structure so firm.
Okay.
So the pulling would be my main uprights. And as I say, these pullings are acquired once they are used and they take them out of the train line.
So you have access to these points. If I want some point, I could link you and get.
Well, you see, the thing about it, they are not so accessible anymore. Because they had some issues where persons actually took away the new ones. So they are actually taking up everything now.
All right. So say I wanted to contract you to build me a pallet house, because you clearly know what you're doing. So if I can't get no pulling, what else would you recommend for me, or what else would you tell me to probably buy?
All right. This is the 4x4 lumber. That house that was constructed at Denby.
Yes.
I actually used the 4x4 lumber.
Okay.
For the uprights. So the two before it is basically the bars that would use with the 4x4 and the pulling to tie the structure together.
Okay.
You know, the 4x4 would be much thicker than the lat itself, or the 1x3. So it is that lumber that you would put the flooring on, and you would use it also to put the pallets on.
Okay.
Because you really need a firm structure. When you have a buck like this one.
Yeah, I saw this guy. I'm looking really nice.
So they tend to sometimes buck, and they are really strong. So if you don't have a firm and strong structure, they will basically pull it apart. All right. Just to note that in any typical herd, your buck would be the most important thing.
Yes.
Because your buck would determine the quality of your herd, basically. So here with me, I have Red Boss.
Red Boss.
He's a
How old is Red Boy?
a little over 2-year-old.
A little over 2 years. Okay. So you can offspring show him yet?
Yes, man. Those all the offspring that you're seeing here now is actually coming from him.
Are you impressed with the offsprings?
Well, traditionally, I'm a traditional boar person. I never really like the red species.
Yeah.
Because they call them Kalahari. Some persons say that they are the red boar. But what happened, I lost my original boar buck. So I had no other option but to keep this one. But I'm telling you that I'm loving him.
You're loving him. Alright, boss.
So again, once you have an intensive system, you now will have to feed the animals. And you would want to prevent these animals from going into these feed troughs.
Yes.
So they must be constructed properly.
Yeah.
In this case, I actually used plywood because it is really much more readily available. But you know, the plastic pipes, the bigger plastic pipes can also be used, because those plastic pipes can be sanitized much easier. Again, your animals will be inside 24/7. So you feeding them your regular grass and your other feed materials that is readily available. You might not be sure how much nutrients are within these feed stuff.
Yeah.
So it is always recommended that you feed them with free choice mineral or mineral block. So in this construction, there are areas that were constructed to put in your mineral blocks. And I always try to be more economical as mentioned before. So when a mineral block is placed in, it facilitates 2 pens.
Okay, that's like like what you have here.
Yes, or right here.
Push it here. Oh, you have one here?
Yeah, man, you can come inside.
Okay. So here now you okay, that's what you do here. So both sides get access to this mineral pen.
So it's either the mineral block or the free choice mineral.
Okay, I like this. This is a cool design. I see you have some innovative thinking. The next thing I want you to tell me about now is your hair bag when I see you have yours. What inspired this hair bag?
Well,
Why not buy the normal hair bag?
well, the thing about the regular earbags is that it has in a lot of holes. And I've noticed in the past, whereas the animals tend to itch their arm within those mesh. So in this case, when I actually do it this way, I waste less grass, because for most farmers, they are actually buying A now for, it can range from $800 to $1,200 for one bale of A. And I'm noticing where most of this A is being wasted.
Yes.
Doing it this way, I reduce the amount of wastage. It also reduce the chance of the animals itching their arm inside of it, and that can lead to death.
Yeah.
There. So as farmers, you have to come up with ways to reduce a lot of incidents and also to be effective at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. Cool. So here guys, Andy always doing something innovative. Love what I'm seeing. I think we should support him building operation. I think him have a unique pallet house setting design here that if you can't afford a lot of the expensive lumber that is going on right now, this is an option for you. So reach out to him and get it up and running.
Yeah, man, I can give them.
If I want to get in contact with you to think about constructing one of these pallet board pens or just for technical advice from you, how do I reach you?
All right, so my number is actually 364-3714. And you can reach me any time of the day.
Let's link you.
Yeah, man.
All right, boss. Respect. So you have some nice offsprings here too, man.
So what I'm actually trying to do now is actually build back. I had sell out some of my better females to facilitate this construction.
Get you.
Because even though it is pallet house, it can be pretty much expensive at the same time, but your cost would be cut like 50%.
I get you. And nothing wrong with that. You have to spend money to make money.
I do agree.
Thank again, Andy, for your time. I'm sure everybody will appreciate this.